Hi, this is Stan. Well, welcome back. I just got delivery of a new pair of trucks today. Something different for me, so let's take a look. Well, I hope your week is going well. I'm excited to get these because they're very different from the last set of 5-inch gauge trucks that I got. So these are from a company called Maxitrak in the UK. However, I purchased them through a company on the internet called Live Steam Station, and they handle a number of different products, including a lot of the Maxitrak products, so you may want to check them out. So this is kind of, I guess, very European. By the way, the 5-inch gauge railroad hobby is very, very robust over in the UK. Not here in the States anymore. The 1-inch to the foot scale is pretty much swept into the corner now. Everybody's in 1.5 and 2.5 inches per foot scale. And I've got a complete train that I made in 7.5-inch gauge, but this is from my home track. That 7.5-inch gauge is much too large to run here at home. So 4 3/4 inch spacing between the flanges on the wheel is the standard here in the US for people doing 1 inch to the foot. However, I'm going to go with 5-inch because there's not a lot of providers here in the US that even do support for 4 3/4 anymore. And so it's really very, very prevalent over in England. So I'm going to go with 5-inch. And there are some products that I have to wait a bit for, but that's okay. So anyway, this is not the standard type of truck that I'm used to. So let me show you the last pair of trucks that I purchased and assembled and installed on a flat car that I just built. So let me go grab that. I gotta tell you, this is one awesome thing about 1-inch to the foot scale. I can grab an entire flat car and easily just pick it up and lay it on the workbench. Okay, so let me pull the pin. So here are the trucks. Let me see if I can tip this display up here. Okay, here's a very traditional setup where you have a central support ring and 2 side supports here, and really for the most of the time you're riding on this central circle here with like a fender washer that allows this thing to freely rotate, and you only really touch down on these side supports when the body rocks back and forth. So again, this is 5-inch gauge, same gauge as this over here. And just for grins, this is a set of trucks for 1.5 scale. Look at this beast. I mean, this thing seems heavier to me just for one truck than the entire flat car. So that's another fun reason that I'm kind of downsizing. But you can see this operates the same way. It's got a central pivot point and 2 side supports. Look at this beast. And then, by comparison, this little guy here. This used to be fairly popular in the US, not this gauge, not 5-inch, but 4 3/4. But in America, we have to go bigger and bigger all the time until we get to the point of no return. And for me, I'm kind of getting to that point on 1.5 to the foot. But anyway, this is what I had last time, and so this will swivel, and then be able to rock back and forth. Okay, easy peasy. But this truck now, this operates completely differently. Let me see if I can... By the way, Live Steam Station, it was an awesome packing job. They came with their own like little mini pallet. Everything was foamed and taped. These are beautiful. Now the last set of trucks I actually had to grind and prepare the trucks. And to be honest with you, they are more, what should I say, scale looking than these. These are not as US trainee looking, but they're completely assembled, and I'm going to give them a try. So take a look in here, and you can see that it has these two side pins here, and these are some sort of a synthetic material. At first I thought it was aluminum, but it's not. It is a synthetic, I don't know if it's Delrin or what it is. And this plate has a center pin going on, which is kind of standard, but instead of a center support, it's simply a spring in the center. And I've started to ask some questions on a couple of the Facebook sites from people that have had some experience with these, to see what their answer is. And if you're very familiar with these, go ahead and leave a comment below as well. So the difference for me is that instead of this thing riding completely on the center pin, as soon as you put any weight on it, it rides on these two pins. And my experience on the other type of truck is that for some reason you forget to put this washer in the center, there's too much friction when it rides on all three places, and it will not spin and rotate very well. And I've had the big cars derail repeatedly when I forgot to put this in on adding the trucks. So this is going to be something brand new for me. I may try and build a proof of concept car, just get some plywood, attach this plate to it, and just kind of experiment with it and see. Perhaps this system works pretty well. It just seems to me that to have quite a bit of anti-rotational friction as I spin it like this with my hand, and my experience would say that that's not going to track well in the turn or going through a turnout. But I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. The other interesting thing about this, of course, it's got the typical side springs. And this, when the flat car is loaded or riding car is loaded, this is when they will kick in. But this is something I hadn't bargained on. There are actually little brake shoes and actuated brakes in this thing. I can't believe it. So what I need to do is just get one of those little squeezy calipers at the bicycle shop, you know, where they have the little wire inside of the spring tube, and just hook it up here, and I can squeeze this thing and actually apply some brakes. Pretty cool, huh? Well, that's basically what's going on here. I probably won't start on this until I make a few track panels. That'll be the next video that you'll see, probably, is me setting up my jig, and you can see how I'm building the track panels for my 5-inch gauge. Well, one more thing before I go. I finally, for my big guy over here, I built a little wooden storage rack for it so that I can roll it on here and free up this cart. This is a little Harbor Freight cart. I'll show you how it works. And I need to be able to move this little steam locomotive around and hopefully steam it up on this cart as well. But you can see how this works. And this is just too heavy for me to be messing around trying to carry it and set it down places. So hopefully this cart will help me out tremendously. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Sorry, not a lot of in-depth content, but I did want to give you an update. And I will see you guys here hopefully next time. Thanks so much for watching.